For this next lesson, we're going to be subtracting numbers in a base less than 10. But before I do that, I want to talk about subtraction in just regular base 10. So when you're subtracting, right, you line everything up. So line up the values, and then you're going to do top minus bottom, right? One digit at a time. But if that top digit is smaller than the bottom digit, so if the top is smaller than the bottom digit, you have to borrow from the place next door. And when you do this in base 10, you're borrowing 10 units. So in another base, in say base 5, you're borrowing 5 units. Okay, so this is analogous for any base. If you're base 2, you're borrowing 2 units. So now when you do the subtraction, you are already in the base, you're already in like a different base. So you're kind of thinking about it just in regular units, but you have to account for the base. All right, let's try it. Again, it's a lot easier to write than it is to write it out in words. So let's do 1, 4, 3 minus 1, 0, 4. So I'm in base 5, which means I'm only allowed to use the digits 0 through 4. Okay, so right off, I need to do top minus bottom. And that 3 is too small. I can't take 4 away from it. So I'm going to borrow from this 4, and I'm going to change that to a 3. But now you don't just change this to 13, right? 1, 3. What you're going to do is you're going to be borrowing, let's see, I'm in base 5, so I'm borrowing 5. So this is actually 3 plus 5, which is 8. 8 subtract 4 is 4. Let's try it again. So 3 subtract 0 . 3 subtract 0 is 3. And then 1 subtract 1 is 0. So if I wanted you to perform, which I do, 143 minus 104 base 5, you would say, oh, that's 3, 4 in base 5. Let's try another one. Let's do 1, 4, 5 minus 5, 1, and we're in base 8. So in base 8, you're borrowing 8 from the guy next to you. And when you do the subtraction, if you get something bigger than the value 7, you'll have to convert it before you put it in. You shouldn't get anything bigger than the value 7, though, because it's subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to do one piece at a time, one digit at a time. So the first digit to the rightest digit is 5 and 1. So 5 subtract 1 is 4, and that's cool. We'll just keep 4. Nothing to write home about. So now in the next place, I've got 4 minus 5. Now, I can't do 4 minus 5, so I have to borrow from the guy to the left. The guy to the left is a 1, so he's going to go down to 0. But this 4 isn't going to change to 14. It's going to change to 4 plus 8, which is 12. And 12 minus 5 is 7. So in base 8, 145 minus 51 equals 74 in base 8. Let's try it again. So I want to do 2, 2, 0 minus 1, 0, 2 in base 3. So in base 3, you're only allowed to have 0, 1, and 2. And if you borrow from the guy next to you, you're borrowing 3. Okay, so in the first rightmost digit, I want to do 0 minus 2. But the top is too small, so I'm going to borrow 1 from the left. And now the one that I'm borrowing is worth 3. So I really have 3 plus 0, which is 3. And 3 minus 2 makes 1. Okay, let's go one digit over. So 1 minus 0 is 1. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. So 220 minus 102 in base 3 is going to be 111 in base 3. So now there's just one more problem left. So pause, try it yourself, and then see if you get the same answer as me. So we're going to do 83 minus 16 in base 9. So base 9 has digits 0 through 8. Okay, so on the right-hand side, I need to do 3 minus 6. But I can't, so I need to borrow 1 from this 8 to make 7. But I'm not borrowing 110, I'm borrowing 9. So this number becomes 9 plus 3, which is 12. So 12 take away 6, just in regular base 10, is 6. Then I'm going to go 1 to the left, so 7 minus 1 is 6. So if I want to do 8, 3 in base 9 minus 1, 6 in base 9, it's 6, 6 in base 9.